Hi everybody, welcome back to Geektopia Island. We're here with the new Kevin's Kreations today. I'm your host Kevin.
And I'm Cardwell.
And today we're going to be bringing you a Reiya Revamped deck. And it's with Reiya the Ruler, Reiya the Fourth. She has her sealed ability finally from the Winds of the Ominous Moon.
Yep.
And we're going to delve into all the crazy stuff she gets with that set coming out. So, let's get right into it.
Let's get to it.
Alright, so Reiya. She's the black ruler of the set, the darkness ruler, Reiya the Fourth daughter of the Mikage. Everything's the same on the front. 3 mana judgment, one energize. At the beginning of the game you get a mystery counter on her. And at the beginning of the game you get 2 more mystery counters on her.
Making it 3.
So you get a total of 3. And then you can put a mystery counter on this card. And then when you judgment, that's when she changes with her sealed ability.
Yeah.
So she judgments into a 12/12 flyer. And when she comes into play on this side, you get 3 mystery counters on her. And then her seal ability triggers as well, called Eye of Ragnarok. When this card enters the field, look at your opponent's hand and choose a card. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent cannot play cards that share a name with that card.
So basically you're trying to help keep things alive when you're trying to alpha strike or...
Yeah.
And it's a good way to look at their hand too when you flip it over.
And then she can also still tap and remove a mystery counter to kill a Resonator. So she still gets all that fun stuff, but she helps her judgment turn because you're like, I don't want you to play that card until my next turn.
Yeah.
So it's until the end of your opponent's next turn. So great, your turn that you're on currently in the next turn, they can't play that spell.
Yeah.
So if it's like a counter spell, don't play that.
Yeah, don't play it. Heck
So
yeah.
that's it for her ruler. That's really all that changed. But we're going to delve into what changed in the deck.
Alright. We'll, of course, start with the creatures here. Of course, Laurite is in. 1 drop, quick cast, 1/2. Enters the battlefield, cancel target activated or automatic ability your opponent controls. Really good.
Yeah.
And then you can... And, of course, this last part doesn't matter because we don't have spirit magics. But, just in case, remove 3 spirit magics in your graveyard from the game. Put this card in the graveyard back to your hand. So, but don't worry about that.
Laurite's super good just because he does so much for the game right now.
Yeah.
He can stop God's Art, he can stop come and play abilities, anything and everything he can just say no to.
He's just, extremely strong for 1 green.
Yeah.
But to help actually make him stronger and work well is from the new set, Laurite's 7 Disciples. It costs 3. They're 7/7 wizards. Now, there's a lot of text here, but when this card enters the field or at the beginning of your main phase, this card gains either +2/+2, swiftness, flying, first strike, precision, drain, or barrier until end of turn. If you control Laurite, which we just pronounced that we do, you get to have all of it.
Yeah, so you get all 7 abilities if you have a Laurite in play, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many games you're just like, Laurite, swing 9, I gain everything.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Exactly. It's just so much, so ridiculous. Swiftness, drain, you gain 9. It's just...
And in a control deck as hard as this one, where you have a whole lot of creature, like just control stuff, having a dude with swiftness makes it so much worse.
First strike and precision.
Yeah, because you're just like, this dude's out of nowhere, just swinging in. Just let's get there.
Kill your dude, I gain 9 life.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Now this is one of my favorite cards in the new set, Reiya the Black Owl. Go ahead and tell us this beautiful thing.
Alright, so Ray is a 2 mana, 5/7. This card cannot be attacked, and it just is a 5/7 owl on the front.
Yeah.
And then at the beginning of your next turn, it flips over, it inverts itself. And it inverts into 0, and she is an 8/9 flyer. And what she says is whenever a card is entities you control gain, whenever this card is targeted by a spell or an ability your opponent controls, counter that ability the first time each turn.
Yeah, the ability triggers only once per turn.
Yeah, so you can do it only once per turn, but it pretty much says if you target my dude, it gets countered that first spell.
Yeah.
So you have to waste 2 spells to kill 1 dude. Is pretty much the essence of what it is.
And entities too, so additions as well. Like
Additions,
they try to kill addition,
your stones, your J ruler, all of it.
Yeah.
She's just really good because she protects so much of your stuff.
And she flips. Like by herself at your main phase, she flips by herself. No other triggers you need to worry about. So it's insane. And the flying, why not?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, why not make it better with Give It Flying? Awesome.
Man, all right. Of course, all-coming all-star with us is Gill Lapis here. 6/7, Will of Despair, Precision, and when he enters the play, go get a light or darkness 1-drop, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
He gets a chant of light or dark, and there's a lot in this deck. We'll cover them in a little bit, but he gets any of those, and then he gets bigger for each Will of Despair, but he's the only one that's really in the deck, because he's just there to go get a chant, which is too strong with him.
Yeah, exactly. With the control spells here we got, it's pretty good. All right, tell us the next card here.
All right, so the next guy we got is Adam Seikhart, the Envoy of Valhalla. It's the little rabbit from the new set.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like he's that good because he's a 0/10 and he can't attack and can't block. But every turn, on your turn, he removes a thing. Just get out of my life.
Yeah.
Remove
target non-magic stone
entity.
and non-J ruler entity.
Yeah.
But that means just dudes and additions.
Yeah, any resonator, any addition he can get rid of. Yes, he doesn't have a come into play ability, so he's kind of vulnerable for the turn he comes in.
Yeah.
But if you get him for even just one turn, that's removing something. Because they don't get that dude back. There's no clause on him that says you get those guys back, you get any of that back.
Yeah, he just wipes them out from...
Yeah, so if he gets to hit something, he's like, you're in Valhalla, let's go.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Because if you can, do turn 2 Ray and then turn 3 him, he can't be attacked or blocked, and then the first spell they try to kill him with is going to be countered. So, enjoy that.
Yeah, Adam, he's just really good if he sticks in play. The hardest part is getting him to stick, but we got the control to help keep that.
Exactly.
And the more turns he's in play, the more value you get off of him.
Speaking of the last creature control, tell us about Jupiter.
Alright, so Jupiter is another one of the staples of our decks just because he's super strong for what he can do. I mean, he's a 5 mana 10/12 with quick cast. And when he comes into play, you get to choose 2. Choose up to 2. Cancel target chant spell, return target resonator to its owner's hand, or rest or recover target resonator, or draw a card.
Yeah.
So he's in the deck for a multitude of reasons. He can counter spells, you can draw cards if you need a cantrip, or you can kill them because you're just like, oh, my swing with these dudes, untap, swing again.
Yep.
Or you can gain 18 life if you have a Laurite and play with the Laurite's Disciple. So you're like, he's a 9/9, swing 9, untap, swing 9.
Yep.
Thanks. Jupiter allows for some silly shenanigans, and he's a huge body. He can end the game for you, and he just counters all the stuffs.
Yep. Or constantly control the game for you.
Yeah, because he can bounce dudes, he can tap dudes. It's just ridiculous.
Bounce himself, draw a card, and just keep doing it.
But he's it for the Resonators of the deck. It's pretty simple and straightforward as the Resonators. It's just some dudes. We're going to get there.
Some good quality dudes.
Alright, so let's move into the spells over here.
Of course, we're playing green, so the next 2 will be no surprise, of course. Faerur spell, costs 1 green. Quick cast, cancel target spell with quick cast. Simple as that. Extremely useful.
Mm-hmm. So, anything Scheherazade plays, pretty much,
is gone.
Minus, 3 things. But all the dolls have quick cast because of Scheherazade, so it gets to counter all of that. Any of the kill spells... Flourishing Hope, any of the cards that just prevent damage, all those are mostly quick cast spells.
They're Laurite to block whatever here, and you're just nope, just counter that. And the next, of course, is Severing Winds, as we just talked about. Costs 4, but if it's their second spell, it's for free.
Yeah.
And counter target the chant.
Yeah, same idea. You can counter whatever you need.
Or counter target spell, I apologize.
Yeah, so it's counter whatever you need as long as they play 2 spells for free. Awesome.
Yep.
Free mana counter spell, but my favorite is when you get somebody when you have to tap 4, when you're just like, not counter that. Yeah. And they're like, that I didn't play a second spell. You're like, great, I paid 4.
Exactly. It's still there. It's still useful.
Yeah, you still can pay for it. It's just not what you always want to do, but it can be a thing.
All right. Please talk about this card because I'm tired of seeing it.
All right. Cardo's not a fan of it, but that's all right.
Because it's just too good.
It's super strong for what it does. But Flourishing Hope is 1 white quick cast. Target J/Resonator gains. This card cannot be destroyed until the end of turn. Then invert this card. And it inverts, and it's one of the Imol invert cards.
Yep.
So you can play the backside. The backside quick casts for 3, a black and 2, and target opponent sacrifices 2 Resonators.
Yeah. Just banish them out of there.
Yeah, banish 2 Resonators. Thanks. So for 4 mana, you get technically... If you block with the first side, you get 3 dudes for 1 card.
Yep.
Awesome. Because it's 4 mana, you get to make your dude indestructible, block, kill that dude. And then it inverts, and you can just make them sack the other 2 dudes.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Or, as in my case, the dude has precision, they swing in to kill the dude. They're like, no, you can't kill him.
Yeah.
And then kill your other 2 dudes before you swing. Thank you.
I've done it a couple times. It's
kind of hurts.
It's a good card.
Hurts.
It's just a very, very good card for what it does.
Yep.
Next up, we got Miscalculation. It's 1 mana, quick cast, destroy target attacking Resonator.
Simple as that. It's very good.
Yeah. All of these ones we're getting through now are all able to be gotten by Gill.
Yep.
So he can go search up any of these next cards we're going to be talking about. We have a 1-of Final Battle, because it's Final Battle. You may need it. And it's a black and X. J Ruler J resonates your opponent control, get -X/-X until the end of turn. And you can pay 2 life for 1 mana to put into it.
Yep. And since even with the X spell, it still counts as 1 mana cost, so you can search it up with Gill.
Yeah. So it gives you a whole lot of stuff. And with Laurite's Disciple being able to get Drain, it gives you a little bit of a buffer with Final Battle. So you're like, I'll hit you for 7 or 9 and I'll gain 7. So that's a free 7 mana, 7 that you get to pay to pump in.
Yep.
Awesome. Next we got Thought Control. It is 1 black. Your opponent reveals their hand, choose a card for 3 or less, and they discard that card. So any of the discard spells with Reiya are super strong just because but you have to have a lot of, there's a lot of chance that you need to know what they're playing.
Yeah, a lot of foresight there.
Yeah, you got to have everything written down because then it plays into her God's Art, or not God's Art, her sealed ability. So you Thought Control turn 1, you know what they have. Then later on you can be like, Judgment, don't play that card because I know it's in your hand still.
Yeah.
And Thought Control also goes real well with the next 1 mana card, which is Glint of Insight. And it's personally one of my favorites of the new set.
Yeah.
It's 1 black, you name a card, your opponent reveals their hand, discard all cards that share a name with that name card.
Yeah. And
then you can remove 2 mystery counters from your J Ruler, just discard in your graveyard, gains Remnant until the end of the turn. So you get to play it again.
Yeah, with Reiya looking at their hand, you know what they have, and then you just like twice get whatever is in their hand out of the way.
Glint of Insight is definitely not your turn 1 play. It really shouldn't ever be. You're hoping for like a Thought Control at turn 1 just so you can see what's in their hand and then you know what you need to get.
Yeah.
But Glint of Insight can also get the card out of nowhere because you got to know what you're playing against, like the meta.
Exactly.
So if you're playing against green, you can almost always call Severing Winds, Laurite, or Faerur spell, and you'll get one of the 3 almost always.
And if anything, after sideboard, you know what potentially they're going to have in their hand.
Yeah. At second game, it's going to be a lot better because you're going to know what they're playing.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you get it back again with her because you remove 2 counters and you're like, great, thanks.
Yeah.
And the final card we have that's a 1-drop is Time Reversal, and it is a new spell for Reiya. It's 1 black, and you draw a card, put a mystery counter on your J Ruler. Pretty good for what it does. Mm-hmm. And then Awakening, remove 3 mystery counters from your J Ruler. At the end of turn, recover all entities you control. So this card's there just to give you the backup control on your opponent's turn. So in essence, it can allow you to go Alpha Strike on a turn. I wouldn't suggest that unless you need to.
Yeah.
But it gives you that ability to. So you're like, pay 1 mana, do all this, and you can do that at the start of the turn and then just play a whole bunch of things. And then you get to untap everything on their turn.
Yeah.
Which is super good. Well, at the end of your turn.
End of your turn, yeah. Untap everything. You have mana for all your control for whatever.
Yeah,
else.
and it protects your dudes because they can't be attacked then. And then it protects you from other things because you get all your counter spells up and you get all of your quick cast Flourishing Hopes and all that up.
Yeah.
And the last card of the deck is Forbidden Arts. A black and white quick cast, destroy target Resonator. Because you need the spot removal and you need the spot removal. The deck is super strong in what it can do. It's very controlling. That's really what its purpose is for.
Yeah.
The stones are pretty simple. We got 4 of the black-green stones, 4 of the white-green stones, and 2 black-white stones. Simple as that. You're not going to take any life off of them because it's all just basics up until the rotation. Then we're going to have to deal with that, but that's a ways away.
Yeah.
Sideboard. We're still working on the sideboard a little bit, so don't think it's permanent, but we got a couple things. First off, we do have a 0, the Sage of Light, so you can change your ruler if you need to. If there's an aggro deck that's just getting out of hand and you need to slow them down,
yeah,
you can change into 0. Because she judgments for 2, and then she makes all their Resonators and J-Rulers lose all abilities.
Everything, yeah.
So if they're getting out of hand real quick, you're just like, no, stay back. Or if they're playing AU or Keurig, you can just like, no, stay home. You lose those abilities because I don't want you to have them. That's her whole purpose in the board, just to keep you alive if you need it. We got 2 Vitality Drains, 5 mana quick cast, target player loses 10, you gain 10. Awakening, this can hit 10 to a creature with removing a mystery counter.
Yep.
So 5 mana, gain 10, you lose 10.
Like 10, yeah.
It's fantastic for her. It's a very good finisher card. That's why it's in the board though, just because it's got its moments, but for 5 mana, it needs to do a little bit. Like if you're going hard on that, then you're having to go hard on that for a reason, and that's not really what you want.
Yeah.
For 5 mana, you should be playing Jupiter or something like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And if you just game 1, you fight aggro, then it's like almost not even worth it. We have 1 Ryula in the board, and she comes back to give your J ruler to take off the astral counter from your J when Reiya dies. Because when Reiya flips, they're gonna do everything in their power to kill her. Because a ruler that can just tap kill a dude is really strong. Yeah.
People don't like that, so they're gonna do what they can to kill her. And she's just a threat. She's a 12/12 flyer. So it's mostly there just to protect your ruler, to give you another weighted judgment. We have 2 Scarlet's Agony in the board just because they're for the AU matchup. 1 green quick cast, remove target attacking J Resonator from the game, or not from the game, from battle, draw a card. So when AU goes crazy, you're just like, go home. No.
Yeah.
Thanks. Because she's all about making 40 damage and killing you. And it's also really good against the deck we showed last week, which is another card that we'll go to next, but they're both really good against the 1-turn kill that we showed last week.
Yep.
That next card is Last Days of the Powerless Dragonoid. It's 1 green quick cast, choose 1, cancel target fire, chance spell, or remove all counters from your opponent's J ruler. So the reason it's good against that deck is because you can either A, counter the Heroic Epic, the spell that puts Umar into play, or you can remove all their strength counters when Umar comes into play.
Yeah.
So they don't get to just one-shot you with removing strength counters, because that deck runs off the strength counters.
And just against Keurig in general.
Yeah.
Just all the red chance.
It is very good against Keurig just because it stops a lot, and it's 1 mana to stop a lot. Next up, we got Grim. He's 2 mana, the 5/7 that comes into play, and he kills an addition, and if you do, you can search for a fairy tale. We don't really have any, but that's okay. It's mostly there for addition hate. Like I said, we're still working on what we need to put in. We got 2 Elemental Evil Uprisings. It's 1 black quick cast. Remove all cards in your opponent's graveyard from the game. Players cannot chase this card. It's there to stop all the crazy reanimate decks, and it can stop Dark Elves pretty hard.
Yeah.
Because Dark Elves are all about their graveyard. And
spinning Aqua Souls if you're worried about certain spells.
Yeah. It's got its place. It's a lot better than people give it credit for. Just because it's that 1 mana, don't get that back.
Yeah.
And the final card in the board is Amaterastu's Foresight, 2 mana quick cast to prevent all damage that would be dealt by J Resonators this turn. It's there to help prevent against AU or any kind of quick aggro deck, minus Scarlet. I've ran into that because I made terrible mistakes, but it prevents all damage other than Scarlet. Yep. So it's worth it just because it's there to save you. You're playing control, so you want to go as late as you can to get there. Overall, it's a super fun deck. It just gives you a lot of viability and a lot of answers that you don't really think. It's a lot to think about and know what's going to happen and what your next plays are.
Yeah.
But if you get it down, it's fantastic to play.
Especially it looks like the turn 2 Black Owl as fast as possible because that card's ridiculous.
If you get him flipped, then your life is a lot simpler.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all for checking in. If you want to see the deck list, it'll be down below. Hope y'all have a wonderful night, and we will see y'all next week on Geektopia. Alright guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and also hit the bell that gets you notifications on all of our content. Also, if you need the latest deck tech, it's going to be to the right, and if you need the latest gameplay videos, it's going to be down below.